This week on FoolCraft 2. Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can hear you!
Aye, Captain!
Oh! Welcome to the FoolCraft 2 recap. My name is PixelRiffs, our writer is LoyXP, and boy, after this one, my throat is gonna hurt for days. If you're wondering about the reason for the festivities, you clearly don't know yet what the newly reunited Team SRS decided to name their underwater city.
In case your episode missed it, we're here to discuss our new base. We've got a name for this base. It's underwater base, and its name shall be 3 hours later. Bikini Bottom!
How did we go from the Bioshock city of Rapture to Underpants Town? Which one of them gets to be Patrick Star? It's Rendog, isn't it? Yep, it's Rendog.
I'd like to be Plankton if
you want to be,
can be.
Okay.
No, I would rather not be Patrick. I could be Gary. I could totally be Gary if I have to be. He is a cat.
Yeah.
Gary does nothing.
That's about what I've done on the series so far.
Quick on their feet, the team jumps right into the aquarium, and so the infrastructure starts growing. To ensure that city lights be bright and shiny, Rendog assembles an Iskallium reactor as their main power source. The twist is that while having the biggest one is definitely not an option, Ren can still do the most interesting looking one.
It's kind of like a plane though, right? Because it's basically just a rectangle. So what we're going to be doing here in this series is using Modded to try and make the reactor just look a little bit more interesting. But take a look at this, man. I had a really cool idea for this, right? Have I gone... Yeah, I don't think I've gone far enough with the actual catwalk section of this, but that's okay. We can quickly fix this like this. I want to make like a catwalk up here, and I want to be able to see down into the various sections of these Iskallium reactors, right? Doesn't that look really cool? And we could have like a gap in between this wall, which I suppose is like the heat sink or something of the chamber, and we'll have this sort of gap in the middle here, which I think will look really cool, and there's a couple of other tricks that we can do. Okay, so that should be working now. It looks like we are no longer losing power. Yeah, at 100 million RF in the bank, we should be okay.
Some of that electricity will surely be needed to power up a beacon tower planned for the Arrival Island that Scar is now working on.
That is truly the funniest and horrifyingest thing I've ever seen in my life. And he can just go right through walls. This just got worse.
Unlike the name and the attitude, this idea was pulled right from the original Bioshock game, as that's how you arrive in the city. For now, Scar is still working on sculpting the terrain for it, which is understandable since Chisels and Bits is in the pack, and you can't have your shoreline without a bunch of slabs in it.
Man, that's a lot of progress so far. So there's the island itself looking super fancy, and I'm pleased with the cliff. I think this has come out. Of course, there's so much more work to do.
So after all this, the girl of the team is tasked with moving all of their things into the new place, and that's what you get for having a fitness-themed video series.
I may have just made boo-boos. Help! Help! Oh man, why? Why do I do this to myself? I need the thingy. Do not tell anyone I did this, okay? This is a complete and utter figment of your imagination.
And Stress Monster does just that, transporting the entire AE system to the city of Butt Cloth and fitting it all into a nifty terminal amongst what Scar recognised as gambling machines.
Now the picture that I'm looking at I'm not entirely sure what they are. So I'm just gonna have to wing it right now and have a go at building this thing. Actually, but never mind. Okay, that is now sorted, everyone. I'm really happy about that, and I think that's pretty much all I need to do in regards of these.
It looks like Art Deco has hit Stress pretty hard, and it's no wonder. You gotta bank on fitting as much cool stuff as possible into every building when your town is so limited for free space. Oh, if only the updated water physics were already in 1.10.
Can we just have all? I mean, come on, Mojang. I mean, it's your job. You enjoy it. You like making mobs. Just make us all the mobs. We want all the mobs, please. We need them. But I am very pleased with the Aqua update. Speaking of being in the water, I talked about it on stream, and it's the Aquascar update. It's the unofficial name for that update is the Aquascar update.
Satisfied with the results, Stress moves her mystical agriculture stuff to the new place too, cause you might as well, and it's not like she would trust anyone else with her flowers.
Okay, it's making clay. It's doing it! Oh man, that means it's working. I've done something that works. That was mind-baffling, everyone.
We can open a freaking restaurant if we want. If you play FoolCraft on a server, this is what I'd recommend you do.
It's been a busy week for Iskele, both on the server and off, but when he's not defending his honour in gaming tournaments, he's been assembling a sorting system which tears apart the loot bags generated by his mob spawners.
Expand this. Uh-oh. Whoa, I messed up. And there's a ghast. Oh my goodness, okay. Yeah, this is bad.
Remember that stew Stress Monster was trying to craft a while back? Yeah, he's got 3 of them now.
Now this thing here, dudes, check this out. Oh, I can just hover it. 400 times saturation. Pretty insane. Pretty insane indeed.
His latest science experiment is feeding raw Iskallium to a miniature cowlet. But that's scientists for you. They'll try to put anything into anything.
You should be able to, somehow. But I don't know how. Maybe you need an Iskallium block. Maybe that's it.
When that fails, his last resort is a trip to the end in search of the incredibly rare Iskallium Mini-Moo, and he finds one within about 2 seconds.
Oh, is this it? It is it! Wow, we found one! We actually found one! Unbelievable! They are supposedly so rare that you'd have to kill everything else around and then over and over again until you get a spawn. Oh my goodness, for once the Iskele is lucky finding mobs.
But not before he's had a chance to poke the Endicott to see what they do.
Ancient carp, eh? Is this a different carp than the... Oh, that was an Endicott. That's sick! I have no idea what that is then.
And they said it was the weakest Pokemon. Fresh from floating around the void, Iskele expands his AE system with a module of molecular assemblers, which sounds simple enough, just take a bunch of nothing and make something out of it. He also tries to set up a Wi-Fi router, and it takes him a couple of tries, despite being an internet professional.
Wait, let's craft up... I don't know how this works, so this is a little bit trial and error, a little bit of a sidetrack, but... okay, I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe I need the security terminal?
Azuma Void 2 meddles in molecular discombobulating, but really he's just there for interior decorating. You can build so many cool laboratory things if you just pretend to be a scientist.
Now that probably would have been pretty cool, but I didn't like the way you couldn't see into the room a little bit, so I decided to remove that, and I think actually it may have looked better to have 3 at the bottom and 3 at the top.
Similarly, the astral sorcery seems to be but a reason to build a temple to him. I mean, it's a nice temple, so score 1 for team viewers.
Okay, and if you watched the last episode where we worked on astral sorcery, I made a catastrophic error at the end of that. Okay, we have put the wrong altar onto this setup, in them, right? It's backwards compatible, but in my mind that got swapped around and I put the smaller altar on here, and that's why we get the red meter, and that doesn't work. So, and we're actually going to include these smaller altars in the build that we're going to be doing here. So Energy Crafter is the person who sent me an image album of this design, which we are kind of redoing block for block. There are a few tweaks and changes I'm going to make with the shape of this, which I've already done, and then when it comes to, you know, finalizing this thing, we've still got a way to go, and I'm going to throw in a bunch of color like I mentioned those blocks earlier, right?
Following in the steps of the more violent members of the server, Azuma too digs out a mosh pit for the mobs to die in, just so he can try out a variety of turrets. A mosh pit, if you will.
That one's kind of effective. Oh, we got to use these in a project, like they're just so much fun, you know? Oh man, that's fun. I like that. Okay, that's a cool thing. I might be the one that placed the block. Now that could be cool for a prank, right? Have it teleport a oh, what if you set up loads of them?
Field testing goes slightly less successfully.
Grenades, in you go. Did it go in? Did it go into the right one? Oh my goodness me, it went in the wrong thing. Hi, there's all sorts of baddies here. Okay, get to work. No, you're attacking yourself. Why would you do such a thing? Okay, a creeper blew up, but success possibly? Okay, you definitely have ammunition in you, and you're receiving power. Why aren't you firing? Oh wow, it just started to wreck stuff up then, didn't it? Goodness me.
And on that note, thanks for watching the FoolCraft Recap. My name has been PixelRiffs and our writer is ZloyXP. My latest Sky Factory time-lapse is in the end cards. They're like my own personal recaps, except with fewer painful jokes. Don't forget to leave a like to help support the channel and subscribe so you won't miss future episodes of the recap. See you next week, fools!